have Seth make the presentation, and you can give the rebuttal if necessary afterwards. I told you that story here. Or you could. So after Lori Castman does her thing, you have to introduce Seth, or you have to make your remarks and then introduce Seth. Whatever you want to do. About the rebuttal? I think we've... He did? No.
No. But you mentioned it. No, I mentioned it because I really appreciate it.
Well, Betsy dissed it.
No, he's coming up here.
She was like,
Go.
She's an editor's editor. It's like this. But I said, I told her that.
Are you guys ready?
So, then she said it was fine.
You're singing with me. Get up.
All of us?
Yes. Sarah, get up. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom.
You know, we have to come up with a name for our singing group. Shabbat Shalom. We're beginning on page 330 with Yom Zeh Yisrael. Oh, the Cantors Chanters, that's what we are. Yom Zeh Yisrael, Ora v'simcha. Yom Zeh Yisrael, Ora v'simcha. Ora v'simcha, Ora v'simcha. Ora v'simcha, Ora v'simcha. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat menucha. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat menucha. Yom Zeh Yisrael, Ora v'simcha. Yom Zeh Yisrael, Ora v'simcha. Ora v'simcha, Ora v'simcha. Ora v'simcha, Ora v'simcha. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat menucha. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shabbat menucha.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
Really appreciate seeing you here in the sanctuary, and also all of those watching at home on our various online platforms. A heads up that we will be using our Siddur Mishkan Tefillah for this evening's service. And also, if you're at home and you want to add the name of a cherished loved one for the Misha Berach, for the healing list, or for the list read before Kaddish, then place that name in the chat or the comment section for JJ to give us the message in a little while that there are extra names. But I open with a poem at this twilight time. The arrow flies over us and the sun sets. We go down into sleep. The terror and the mystery, we ask to lay us down, to raise us up. We ask for wings, the shelter of wings in the dream we're given. We ask for good counsel, the word that may shelter us, protect us and rescue us in the calm of night, that we may be restored into the mystery of words. We continue by calling forward the Cunningham family celebration of Kyle's bar mitzvah tomorrow morning to light the Shabbat candles on page 2. Please come forward. I'll meet you down here to do that together.
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav lahadlik ner shel Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher וקידשנו במצוותיו, וציוונו להדליק נר, להדליק נר של Shabbat. We continue with a psalm of joy at the bottom of page 13, last paragraph. ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים, ותגל הארץ. ישמחו השמיים, ישמחו השמיים. All right, you don't sound joyful. It's got to be Hashamayim. I want some Here we go. Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim. Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim. Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam umelo. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam umelo. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim. Yismechu hashamayim, hashamayim. Yismechu hashamayim, v'tagel haaretz.
To evoke Shalom Aleichem and the angels that join us on Shabbat, the following. Peace is with you, angels of stillness. Enter, bless me, give me rest. God knows I need you. God knows I'm asking, harried, impatient, at war with myself. Make your home in my soul. Fill my home with your light. Let me breathe in your quiet. Help me savor shalom. Peace is with you, angels of stillness. Enter, bless me, give me rest.
Page 20, we welcome the Shabbat bride. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor vezachor v'dibor echad Hishmianu el hamiuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad l'shemo tiferet v'li tila. Lecha dodi likrat kalai yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kalai yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor haberacha. Merosh mikedem nesucha Haseh v'machshava tchila. Lecha dodi likrat kalai yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kalai yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, hitoreri, ki va'orech kumi ori. Uri, uri, shir daveri, kevod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kalai yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kalai yalalai 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 bnei Shabbat nekabela. We rise to welcome Shabbat. Boi v'shalom ateret bala gam besimcha דודי לקראת קלה, יאללה, 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 לשבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, יאללה, 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 לשבת נקבלה. Please be seated. We continue on page 22. This is my newest favorite Shabbat song. Light shall be sown for the righteous. Here we go. צדיק תמר יפרח, כארז בלבנון יזכה יזכה, איי איי איי. צדיק תמר יפרח, כארז בלבנון יזכה יזכה. שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו. שתולים בבית אדוני, בחצרות אלוהינו יפריחו. צדיק תמר יפרח, כארז בלבנון יזכה יזכה, איי איי איי. צדיק תמר יפרח, כארז בלבנון יזכה יזכה. עוד ינובון בסבע, דשנים ברננים יהיו. להגיד כי ישר אדוני, צורי ולא עוולת בו, איי איי איי. צדיק תמר יפרח, כארז בלבנון יזכה יזכה, איי איי איי. צדיק תמר יפרח, כארז בלבנון יזכה יזכה.
By way of preparation for the half Kaddish, magnified be your name here and now in the life we're living. May we expand your presence in this world, extend the light of your goodness, make visible and tangible your love. Summoned to a purpose beyond ourselves, we bend our knees and bow.
Page 26. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabba.
Amen.
Be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבא מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא. Vitadar, vitale, vitalal, shemei dekudesha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata, v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran le'alma, ve'imeru. Amen. Please rise. Barechu et Adonai, Amevorach, Baruch Adonai, Amevorach le'olam va'ed.
Continue together on page 30. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah poteach sharim, ובתבונה משנה עתים, ומחליף את הזמנים, ומסדר הכוכבים במשמרותיהם ברקיע כרצונו. בורא יום ולילה, גולל אור מפני חושך וחושך מפני אור, ומעביר יום ומביא לילה, ומבדיל בין יום ובין לילה. אדוני צבאות שמו. אל חי וקיים, תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני, המעריב ערבים. Middle of 33 we continue together. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
We invite Kyle Cunningham, our upcoming bar mitzvah, to lead us in the Shema today.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. Ve'ata et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha ve'hayu ha'dvarim ha'elech asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam b'shitecha b'veitecha u'lechtecha v'derech u'shokbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam leot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot b'neinecha u'ktavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha Laman tizkeru v'asitem ekol mitzvotai v'item kedoshim lelohechem Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim leot lachem lelohim Ani Adonai Elohechem.
Eternal, watch over my small domain of light and shadow, those few people who share my love and all others upon this earth that sometimes shakes with thunder and reverberates with lightning. Help us to live with fear and conquer rage. Heal the hate that makes us kill and covers the ground with this Red Sea that only you can part. So we may all walk through the wilderness to your realm of peace where all men and women are one and sing your blessed name.
We continue with Michamocha on page 40. Yai rai 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 da da rai ba bye bye bim bam. Yai rai 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 da da rai ba bye bye bim bam. Ai rai 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 ba bye bye bim bam. Ai rai 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 ba bye bye bim bam. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh. Norati lo osel felech, norati lo osel felech, malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei hayam lifnei Moshe, ze'elianu ve'ameru, Adonai imlo leolam va'ed, bye bye bim bam, yai rai 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 rai, bye bye bim bam, ai rai 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 rai, bye 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 bim bum. Hi hi ya bye bye bim. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו. ברוך אתה אדוני גא ישראל. What page? Page 42. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu. Hashkivenu leshalom. Ve'ha'amidenu shomreinu lechayim. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, לשלום. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms.
I honor the gift of stillness and rest, a day devoted to peace, peace within my soul. On this day I have everything I need, peace with those around me. On this day I seek no quarrel or strife, peace of earth and sky, green trees and quiet water. I give thanks that I am present in this world. I celebrate the miracle of existence, the breath within me, the beating of my heart, the love that blesses my life.
Page 44. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם, אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי 6 ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
The Amidas on page 46, and we go into it with the following thought from Asherai: take my thoughts and build from them houses of prayer. Please rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Eternal God, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, גומל חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. מוריד הטל, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה. ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יעללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. We continue silently through page 62, either standing or seated. שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו, אמרו, אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו, אמרו, אמן. יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה לה לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה לה, יאללה לה 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 לה, יאללה לה 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 לה. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל, ואמרו, אמרו, אמן.
Going to ask those watching online, if you want to add a name to our Misha Berach list, to our healing list, then please put that name in the chat or comment section of the platform you're watching on, and I'll invite Carl's father Paul to come forward to offer the drush.
Marvels of modern technology. I left my phone at the house that had my drosh on it, and I was able to access my email on my wife's phone. So everything's wonderful. Shabbat shalom, everybody. How's everybody doing? My family's having a big mitzvah tomorrow. My son's getting bar mitzvah. It's my second bar mitzvah of sons in this room, and someday there'll be a third son who will be bar mitzvah in this room, God willing. This week's portion is pretty interesting, isn't it? This week's portion is about giving. It's about charity. It's about, when we talk to Rabbi Lachheim, our esteemed Rabbi Emeritus, we talk to him about Maimonides' levels of giving and how giving very anonymously and quietly and not taking credit and being humble and humility is this big piece of giving. But this portion, to me, had some very poignant things for this week. Because this week, if you weren't sleeping under a rock, the president made an announcement that he was going to retire a lot of people's student debt. And there was some controversy that surrounded it. And in this portion, they talk about that. The first thing they talk about is the remission of debts and how it takes 7 years to remit these debts and how there's responsibility. A debt is almost a partnership between the borrower and the borrowee. And there's all these things in the portion about debts. The other thing that I liked about it is that it has this thing about 7 years. All debts can't be remitted for 7 years. We have bankruptcy laws for the lawyers in the room that all apply 7 years. There's all kinds of things that apply in the United States federal laws with 7 years when it comes to financial debts, which is kind of interesting. Matter of fact, if you want to be clear of a bankruptcy, you have to wait 7 years. So all these things are in there, and they probably come or originate from this interesting portion. But the other piece of this portion that is even more interesting is God kind of tells everyone no one's going to be needy anyway. And he doesn't say, and God doesn't say, oh, no one's going to be needy because I'm God and I'm going to take care of you. He doesn't say that. God says, no one's going to be needy because here's a set of rules about borrowing, and you guys are going to work it out and help each other out. And that's what really the crux of it is is that this portion's about everybody helping each other out, our community helping each other out. That's the crux of this portion. Because everybody, no matter who you are, whether you're financially well off or not, you always need somebody to lean on a little bit, whether it's through friendship or love or finance or shelter, food. There's always somebody that you want to lean on a little bit, and that's what this is all about. That's why this portion is so poignant to me, and I have to put in the code again. It's not my code, so I have to remember. Okay. So that was kind of one of the things that I think that was poignant here, and it applied to this $10,000 debt. And the president said, hey, you know, you get this $10,000 debt. We're gonna erase it, but you have to be current on your student loan, and you have to have shown good faith, and you have to adjust your rate, and you have to have a pathway to finish. So he put some conditions on it, and God does the same thing with the debts on the slaves and how many oxen they have to trade. He does the same thing in his Torah portion. So my son is getting bar mitzvah tomorrow, and I feel this portion was very good for him because he was able to learn these lessons and interpret it. And he taught me about this portion and this drash. You know, 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I was here and they did the 10 Commandments, and 2 weeks ago I was here for a bat mitzvah and they did the Shema, and I thought, man, that would be a great portion to get. It's so neato and high profile. But I'm going to take this portion. I think this was a winner too. It definitely taught me something too. So with that, that's my drash. We have a family tradition of going to Sabbath dinner on the night before. So our whole family from out of town is waiting across town. So we're going to leave. But with that, I say good Shabbos and Yom Tov, and thank you very much.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Paul, I particularly enjoy getting to know you and hearing how you take concrete steps in your life to help people in need. So I really see that connection to the portion. Although I do want to pick you up on one thing, that Rabbi Lockheim, we're co-rabbis. He's not the Rabbi Emeritus. And I'm really enjoying working with him. And I don't want him to go and retire now when I'm working so enjoyably with him, okay? So just a note of caution there, but good Shabbos. I do want to just draw everyone's attention to the names that we're going to project on the screen of those who are in need of healing. And I'm also going to mention a couple of names to add. We also want to mention at the put the focus on the top of the list, those who have just been added recently. Destiny Bucket, Vicky Chiverton, James L.R., Florence Cerna, and Sarah Tomasetti. And then also just check in the room if there's any names which are not on the list that you see that you'd like to add. Please go ahead. Thank you. Thank you.
A family of Alan Kaminsky.
With all of those names in mind, we're going to go ahead to page 253 to recite our healing prayer. We leave it to you whether you stand or sit for this particular ritual.
Mekor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mi sheberach in need of healing, with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Please be seated. So I'm also happy that I'm not retired yet. One of the things I'm happy about, and most of my congregants are aware of this, even at my elder age. I always discover something new, whether it's in the Torah portion or something about Jewish values or something like that. And so when I started preparing for this evening, and I read at the beginning of our portion, "See, I place before you today the blessing and the curse," we've heard this before. Before Moses is about to die, we've heard a few times, "I'm placing before you the blessing and the curse. Choose blessing so that you shall live." And I never really gave it much thought, because as a reader of the Holy Scripture, I know that we're supposed to be taking the choice of blessing. Why do we even have this option of choosing the curse? And I know that if I were to ask every single one of you in this room, all right, I'm going to give you a choice. Do you want to have a blessing, or do you want to have a curse? I would think that 100% of you would tell me that you would want the blessing, that the course of action that you would take would be one where you receive a blessing rather than some negative result. So what is this doing here? What is this telling us? Is it really this simple dichotomy about, do the right thing? And I think it's not. When I studied it this week, I really felt that there was something purposeful about people who are making choices that result in a curse or a negative result. And it made me think of something we're all aware of, our two different inclinations, the inclination for good and the inclination for evil, the Yetzer HaTov and the Yetzer Hara. And it's not really as simple as just delineate, we've got evil inclinations and bad. So let me put this in terms of Freud, and this made a lot more sense for me as to what was going on here and the choices that we make on a daily basis. So using Freud's terminology, I'm going to identify the Yetzer Hara, or this evil inclination, or the desire, not a desire for an evil outcome, but what results in evil outcome, with his idea of the id. And the id, according to Freud, is driven by the pleasure principle. It is that thing which strives for immediate gratification, for all your desires, all your wants, all your needs to be satisfied. And if these needs are not satisfied immediately, the result is a state of anxiety, tension, or something even worse than that. So most of us agree that these primitive appetites need to be controlled and sublimated in some cases. And if we don't control these desires and simply allow them to be a catalyst for the choices that we're going to make, we might find ourselves grabbing things out of other people's hands to satisfy our own cravings, or something much worse than that. So with no thought given to who might be harmed by an impulsive choice derived by our id, rather than a thought-out plan, perhaps there is no wonder that our Torah suggests a curse is going to result. Conceivably, it is not that God will jump out of the sky and punish us right on the spot for our poor choices and poor behavior, but you and possibly someone affected by this impulsive behavior will suffer in some manner. Sounds like a curse to me. So I identify the Yetzer HaTov, that good inclination, with Freud's superego, the conscience that is imparted to us by our parents, by our society, even by our religion, and teaches us self-control, altruism, gratification, or not having immediate gratification. The superego holds all of our internalized moral standards and ideals. It's really our sense of right and wrong, and to do the right thing. Freud also spoke of the ego, that part of ourselves that consciously makes decisions. The ego strives to satisfy the id's desire in a realistic way and in a way that's socially appropriate. And there are so many diets and religions and philosophies that want you to simply expel the evil that you're feeling, just to rid yourself immediately of that desire, that appetite, get it out of you, excise it from you. But instead, our religion, both from the Torah and from the rabbinic literature, is for us to talk to it, talk to that desire, understand that desire. Those yearnings and desires that we have come from a legitimate place, come from a place where we feel a little bit empty, and at a particular time, it's seeking to be satisfied or to be filled in some particular manner. And if you understand that need, if you come to understand that yearning, that desire, then perhaps you can understand a different approach, a different choice to fill that emptiness that you feel, which will not lead to a curse, will not lead to a harm for yourself or someone else. You know, the one thing I thought about was the inventor of Pringles potato chips. You know, we've all been susceptible to this Yetzer Hara, or I'll speak for myself. You know, you get that can and you say, okay, just 5 chips stacked neatly on top of each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, another 2, right? Until, you know, some of us have the self-control to at least leave 3 at the bottom of the can and put it away. But, you know, you realize that the inventor of Pringles, you know, probably died of his Yetzer Hara, his urge for those Pringles, because he enforced his family to bury his ashes in the Pringles can and bury that at his funeral. So, you know, I mean, talk about the curse of the Pringles. So this is part of our ego that reflects our ability not only to choose from a place of appreciation, to appreciate what that desire is, but at the same time to take fully the responsibility for those choices that you ultimately have to make. And with an understanding of one's social, emotional, physical, and spiritual needs and desires and yearnings, the Yetzer Hara, and how to bring satisfaction and fulfillment when they call you through a socially acceptable choice that you are going to make instead of the urge to immediately gratify yourself. There's another way to satisfy that urge, and that's God's greatest gift to us, that idea of making good choices. It's the part of us that's the most godlike. It's the essence of our teachings, that we're creating God's image to take those yearnings and desires and to satisfy them appropriately for the greater good as well as our own personal good as well. So I'm sure we remember some of the cartoons you watched as a child. A character frequently had to make a moral choice, and on one shoulder was a little angel, and the other shoulder was a little devil urging him or her in one direction or the other. And it's a childish description of this profound struggle that I think is depicted in our Torah portion this week about the choice between good and evil. And our lives are filled with decisions where we have to try and create a balance. And in fact, one of the great motivational speakers, I know he's a little controversial, Anthony Robbins, has built a very successful career on lecturing that our lives are composed of these kind of decisions that we have to make each and every day. Maturity is the ability that our lives are composed. Maturity is the ability to make those right decisions, the one that will lead to the greater good. And this often means delaying that immediate gratification while maintaining a vision for the greater good. So I hope you heard what I said. It's not getting rid of that yearning, that need, or that desire, but delaying the gratification so that the way you get it is not to deny yourself of this, but you get it in a different way, in a different form, in a different amount, and possibly from a different force. But you will get it, but in a way that doesn't harm you and doesn't harm other people. It means decisions are based on our own community's long-term interests, even if our appetites are screaming at us to satisfy something immediately. The blessing from our Torah portion provides for a long-term satisfaction, while choosing the curse is one of immediate gratification. And you'll get what you desire, just think how to achieve it without harming others and all your relationships, based on divine values. So unfortunately, in contemporary America, we often tend to pursue immediate gratification, and we allow the id and our Yetzer Hara to carry us away. Author and radio personality Dennis Prager has commented on this mistake, where we mistake fun in the place of happiness. We search for immediate pleasure rather than long-term achievement that will ultimately bring us happiness, as opposed to just fun. The need for fun or happiness will be achieved where you or someone you love will not be cursed when you achieve it quickly or without thinking. So in fact, his book, Happiness is a Serious Problem, Prager teaches that fun and happiness are actually opposites. To understand why fun doesn't create happiness and can even conflict with it, we must understand the major difference between fun and happiness, he says. Fun is temporary, happiness is ongoing. Or put another way, fun is during, happiness is during and after. And he gives it an example in an amusement park. Going to an amusement park might be fun, it's a diversion, it's relaxing, but after leaving the park, one's happiness has not increased one iota. A lifetime of amusement parks is not a lifetime of happiness. So happiness, as many of us know, is found in relationship with someone you care about. You too can go to an amusement park for fun, but you are happy doing it together, going out together, enjoying company together, being with friends together. And if your friends want to have fun and take you individually on a ski weekend, and your wife thinks at least this time it's a bad idea, you may have fun for a couple days, but when you come home, there is no happiness. So perhaps it's worth a discussion with your wife to figure out how to find the proper balance. Happiness comes from a different approach. So let's return to our Torah portion. See, I place before you today the blessing and the curse. See, the word ra'eh is addressed in the singular, to me as an individual. Before you is lifnechem is addressed to the group. What does this mean? The significance is ra'eh wakens up the individual and piques our interest, while lifnechem, before all of you, makes us less egocentric. Addressing the group means it's not all about me. You must work with others to help them understand the path to set before us all. It's not enough to keep your nose clean. You must help others, just as Paul said. Another way of looking at it is, Ra'eh is asking each of you as individuals to sit up, pay attention, realize that the decisions you're about to make not only affect you singularly, but you all as a group. We really do not make decisions in isolation unless you're some hermit. Each decision affects so many other people. So we want to choose blessing, the Yetzer HaTov, and understand the underlying desire for our immediate gratification, Yetzer Hara. We recognize the emptiness that we feel that needs to be filled, and we need to figure out a different way that can positively affect our environment and others as we satisfy that need or that desire. Be your best. Present yourself as the best. Take the high road even when others may not. That will make you happy. Be a good influence and model for others. Choose the blessing. It might take a bit longer, but in the end, you will never regret it. Amen. So I'd like to invite Lori Kastman, who has our weekly announcements for us.
I choose blessings,
Oh,
Rabbi.
he's in the corner behind. What?
I said, I choose blessings.
Oh, thank you. He's behind the
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
My name is Lori Kassman, and I'm Vice President on the Kolami Board. Thank you to our wonderful clergy. I love coming to services, don't you? Rabbi Tom Lockheim, Rabbi Malcolm, Cantor Cohen, cantorial intern Sarah Bolt for leading us in the joyful service. And I want to thank Chris for coming and adding to our service. You do such a wonderful job, Chris. Thank you. I want to thank the Cunningham family, even though they have left. They did a great job lighting the candles, and Paul's drosh was really thoughtful. If you listened to it, it really had some meaning in there, I think, for everyone. Tomorrow, Torah study will take place at 8:30 a.m., followed by our Shabbat service, of course, at 10 a.m., when our very own Kyle Cunningham becomes a bar mitzvah. Mondays at noon, please join Rabbi Lockheim for a new session of Lunch and Learn, Judaism A to Z. Monday's letter is O. And the only thing I could think of when I read this was, oh no, it's not too late to join. This is the real, and you are totally unprepared. This is Rabbi Cohen's class to prepare you for the High Holy Days. The first class is this Tuesday evening at 6:30 p.m. on Zoom or in person. Please check the website for all of these classes. There's some amazing classes in there for the JLL, and I'm sure you'll find something you'll enjoy. Next Saturday morning, September 3rd, please join us for the Shabbat service when Matthew Meisland becomes a bar mitzvah. Tomorrow night, please join the women of Kolami as we light the way to a new year. Registration will begin at 5:45 with wine and hors d'oeuvres, ladies, and we'll be in the side gesture. We'll present a brief introduction on what WKA has been doing, where we are going, following a Havdalah and a musical sing-along. Please join us. If you haven't signed up, go on the website, sign up, we'll still let you in. Have you registered for the Mocha, the breakfast that the men are going to be hosting? They're welcoming Rabbi Cohen and his family September 11th at 9:30 a.m. It's a wonderful program meant to include everyone. So please, as a family, it would be a wonderful gesture to welcome Rabbi Cohen's family. There's always something happening at Kolami. Be sure to check your weekly emails, the website for more information and more offerings always happening. On behalf of the Kolami clergy, staff, board of trustees, please stay safe and be healthy. Shabbat Shalom.
Want to bring up our President Seth Ruskin. As many of you know, these next few days are the last few days of Donna Byer's tenure here as our executive director. And so even though you don't want us to make a fuss of you, we're going to make a fuss of you and embarrass you a little bit. So please bear with us. And Bruce, just prop her up there as we do this.
No, Bruce, make her come up here. I didn't warn you because I didn't think you would come up. It is my honor to take this moment to thank and recognize Donna Byer. Sorry. It is my honor. Is that better?
Yep.
Okay. It is my honor to take this moment to thank and recognize Donna Byer for her many years of service and dedication to the Tucson Jewish community, Temple Emmanuel, and now Kolami. Donna has been an incredible leader and executive director for the past many years. Her dedication to the job and the community has been an example for all. Donna's preference is to ensure that the behind-the-scenes part of the job are done, the real job of an executive director. Her passion and strength are evident. The next director will have big shoes to fill. Donna, thank you for mentoring me as a board member and now president, and for the confidence you have given me. Your door has always been open, and you've always found time to help. You have really helped keep the congregation moving forward and have been a friend to all, including me. On behalf of the Board of Trustees and the congregation, I want to present you with a small token of our appreciation. Thank you for everything. Here's a gift, and I've been asked to have you open it. I brought scissors. I couldn't get him through security. It's fragile.
We may get it out yet. There we go. Oh, pretty. Okay. Here we go. And I can't read what it says.
It's Glenn Gruber Designs, and it says, "A woman of valor who can find her. She is far more precious than jewels." And then it's in Hebrew.
I just want to offer a couple of words. I just want to offer a couple of words myself, Donna. I know I've only been here a little bit. I just want to say 3 really important things about you. And when I think of you, Donna, I think of the idea in Pirkei Avot, "Uvimkom she'en anashim ishtadel liot ish," in a place where there are no people, strive to be a person. So when there's something that needs to be done, you just step up and do it. No questions asked. You rush into the breach and get it done. The other thing I really want to say about you is that for you it's about chesed, about kindness. And chesed is really about kindness overflowing love. And when I really get that from you is when you're talking about congregants. And there's a name that comes up. And then it's like, oh, this person is wonderful for this reason. We need to take care of this person because of this. And you really help everyone meld together in a community because you really care about them and give them that chesed, that kindness. And the other word that comes into mind is avodah, service, because it's not about you, right? You always think, what is the best thing for the Jewish community, for the congregation, and the community at large? And that's why people love you and appreciate all of the years of that service that you've done. And so thank you on all those scores for everything. It's really important to celebrate the good things that happen in life. We'd love to hear if you're online, you want to share something good that happened to you this week. And if you're in the room, it doesn't have to be a big thing. As long as it's a positive thing that happened this past week, we'd love to hear. Yes, Chris, please.
Sharing my 60th birthday.
You're sharing your 60th birthday with us. Okay, amazing. Mazel tov, mazel tov. Yes, Dana. I'd like to wish my wife and I a happy anniversary. 21 years. Amazing. Yes, that's definitely worthy of a Shechianu. Could we get one more thing, even if it's a tiny positive? I can drink now that I'm 21. Isn't that lovely? Something positive that happened to people this week. Please, yes, Arlene, go on, shout it out. Okay? So, Arlene, I want to tell you that you've got this beautiful tiara on that you're wearing tonight, which is symbolic of your angelic status. So that's beautiful that you have that role of guardian angel. And that and many other things that we have. Steve Shaw is with their grandson for Jeanette's birthday. Okay, so that's wonderful. Another good thing. For all of the positives from this week, we recite the Shecheche. Oh, Bradley, we got one more under the wire. I can't say no.
Every week he has something good.
Tell us briefly what the good thing is, Bradley.
Yay! That's free coffee and
and
donuts.
a free donut at Dunkin' Donuts goes to the top of the list. Shehechianu to everyone.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kiyamanu higianu lazman hazeh.
Folks online, if you can offer the names for Kaddish in a few moments, that would be really helpful. And Elena is on 282, please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, l'atei gedula liotze breshit, shelo sanu kegoyei haratzot, velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, וגור עלינו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
Please be seated. Now, as we conclude our service, we reflect on those individuals who had such a great impact on our lives. For those who are saying Kaddish for a loved one this evening, if you would like to come forward and place a pebble in your hand, feeling symbolically the weight in the palm of your hand that reflects the impact that that person had on your life. For those who would like to, you may come forward and take a pebble, place it in your hand, and place it on the table. Yeah, I know. So take this, put it in your hand. Yeah, just feel it. Yeah. And then put it there. Thanks, Darlene. I know. I saw her name. I couldn't believe it. Thanks. We recall now those who died this past week. Alan Kamensky, the brother of a member of our congregation, Joyce Brodsky, and Mark Kamensky, father of Rachel and Wes McDaniel, Eli Kamensky and his wife Emma Packard, and Jesse, grandfather of Lena and uncle to Joel, Jason, Joy and Aaron, Suzanne, and Caden. We also reflect on the ones laid to rest within the past 30 days: Leonard Baines, Alan Daniels, Sandra Match, Pamela Marie Bertrand, Bernie Jaroslow, and Dinah Taub. We also reflect on those whose yahrzeit we observed this week, those who died this season in years past: Sarah Abrahams, Irving Amdor, James Baker, Richard Bandler, Cecilia Bielski, Bertha Bilgray, Faye Borkin, Lucy Bradshaw, Darden Burns, James Butler, Harlan Capon, Philip Capon, Louis Cohn, Curtis Colisson, Joyce Colton, Lynn Courtney, Beatrice Cunningham, Ida Eisenberg, Salomon Eskenazi, Harvey Evanchik, Samuel Fleischner, Abraham Gardner, Kenneth Gerber, Leonard Gibbons, Isidore Goldberg, William Goldstein, Florence Gross, Anita Grossman, Rebecca Himmelstieb, Larry Joseph, Goldie Juster, Samuel Kaplan, David Karnofsky, Isidore Kaufman, Arlene Komensky, Ann Lerner, Irving Mermelstein, Carol McCloskey, Leah Miller, Mark Miller, Annette Miloff, Audrey Milton, Randy Moore, Rosalie Nussbaum, Blanche Omansky, Carol Ordever, Elsa Pinheiro, Pearl Plessett, Milton Pollock, Harold Richmond, Jeanette Rothberger, Ronald Rubin, Celia Sattinger, Robert Schoenberg, Manny Schwartz, Sylvia Schwartz, Lucia Shabason, Cecilia Schachter-Shore, Samuel Siegel, Benjamin Silverman, Alice R. Smith, Sylvia Troner, Samuel Tamarkin, Eleanor Ullin, and Hedwig Worth. If there are those in our sanctuary who are saying Kaddish for a loved one, for someone whose name was not mentioned, we ask you to please mention those names at this time. And Sherry Corey. The Kaddish prayer can be found on page 294. We ask our community to please rise. Page 294.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei. B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'yimaru. Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam u'me'omaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal. Shmei d'kudisha b'richu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tush b'chata v'nechemata. Da'amiran be'alma v'yimru. Amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen. V'imru, v'imru, v'imru. Amen. V'imru, v'imru, v'imru. Amen. Please be seated. Do you want to welcome people or is that after? Page 321 for Adon Olam.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נשא וחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא ואחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 בידו הפקיד רוחי בעת תישן בעירה ועם רוחי גוויעתי אדוני לי ולא יירא יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה 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 יאללה לה
Before our Motzi, our Kiddush and Motzi, is there anyone joining us for the first time who feel bold enough to introduce yourselves so we can welcome you appropriately? Yes. Oh, thank you so much.
And I want to introduce my cousin Irene, who hasn't been here in a long time, because she lives way out there. So she's here tonight.
On Broadway?
No, she lives further than Broadway. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lemase v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim ki banu v'achata v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat Amen L'chaim. Oops. Do we have to fast for 40? Just kidding.
Hamotzi lechem min haaretz. We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.